should take that into full consideration relative to the sentencing.
The letters were not written to question the legitimacy of the judicial system or the validity of the jury's ruling.
They were intended for the judge to read, and not to undermine the testimony of the victims or re-traumatize them in any way. We would never want to do that. And we're sorry if...
Well, I mean, he kind of was.
That is the case.
Right?
Our heart goes out
Why
to
else write him?
every single person who's ever been a victim of sexual assault, sexual abuse.
This robotic and cold apology did not help anyone understand why
She
they
did sound
sent
like
these
a robot,
letters, and
right?
This entire situation makes people regret celebrating Ashton.
Yikes, I feel like it sounded better before I heard their apology. I feel like that was not the move, boys. Hey YouTube, how's it going, dude? My name is Lonnie, dude. Another day, another Doyle. Hopefully you guys are having a swell day, like I mentioned at the beginning of every freaking stream, dude. New clips channel, dude. I be posting clips from the streams on here. Check it out. At lonniedos.com, we got merch and stuff. Let's open this Patrick CC video. I didn't really hear about this news, apparently, with... I don't even know what is his name. Is the guy from That 70s Show? I think this is about him and Ashton Kutcher's drama. The drama potentially freaking... so...
Ashton Kutcher walked on the set of That...
Yeah, this is the Patrick CC video.
70s show as Kelso, and the world fell in love with him. He was a tall, handsome, gullible goofball who stole the hearts of women and teens around the world. What they didn't know is that there is a whole different side of the actor that Hollywood rarely sees.
His Steve Jobs side, but they did see it in the movie.
And over the years, he would slowly expose who he truly is.
Ashton
Debuting
Kutcher.
in August 1998, That 70s Show followed the Foreman family, mainly through the eyes of their son Eric, and his group of teenage friends, pretty boy Michael Kelso, stoner Stephen Hyde, and foreign exchange student Fez.
One of the best shows, or at least like sitcoms.
Foreman's
For
neighbor,
sure.
Donna Pinciotti,
A
and
classic,
snotty rich
dude.
girl, Jackie Burkhart. Although a comedy, the show addressed issues universal to teens across all decades, including relationship drama, problems with school, and underage drinking and substance abuse. Despite the near-constant bickering and sarcastic jokes, each friend deeply cared for one another. Two people that especially cared for each other were Jackie and Kelso, who were boyfriend and girlfriend on the show. And in Season 1, Episode 5, they kissed in front of 10 million viewers.
Have you been watching The Big Bang Theory? Not since, like, it was out in, like, Season 1.
19,
What are they on now, like Season 100?
Kunis was just 14 years old.
She was 14 when we started the show. I was like 19, right?
Right.
And they're like, okay, you guys are going to be making out in this scene.
The 70s, it was a different time, I assume. I was not alive in the 70s, and that's when the show takes place, right? So, I mean, I'm not defending anybody. I'm simply spitting facts and lies.
I'm like
Mostly jokes, goofy little anecdotes and quips.
Your first kiss ever, right?
It was my first kiss. Why did someone bet you made with Danny about our first kiss?
Dude, with the freaking drum.
It was the first kiss. It was like a second or
Such a
third
drastic music change.
kiss. No, it was not the first week.
Whatever. Let me tell you what happened.
No, let me tell you what happened.
No. Okay, so I've never kissed a guy. So I was so. I mean, you know, Ash was attractive, and I was a 14.
Okay, I thought this was gonna be a quick thing. I'll stop being weird now.
Little girl, and I was extremely scared for my life.
Jesus.
And he was very nice.
It just
about
keeps
He was
getting
"Oh, don't
worse."
worry." So I was like, okay. Then Danny goes and goes, dude, I'll give you $10 if you French kiss her. What would you stick your tongue in my mouth or some?
What? No.
For $10.
You're making it sound like it was like really. Okay, Dan, we had a little side bet going.
In multiple
It
interviews,
sounds like they're doing a bit, but I guess that's just because they talk this way on the show. Hello, my friend. Sorry, I am late. What did I miss, friend? I just reacted to the new iPhone commercial stuff. Like the Apple event was today, so I was looking through that a little bit. Nothing to really report, but it was cool. I don't know. Hope you're doing well, Spring Bonnie.
throughout her career, Mila
SpongeBob's
states that
Under
she
the
was
Years. I have not seen that. What is that? A new show?
scared, as most of us were, for her first kiss. 25 years ago, people thought this was adorable. Today, they are pointing out how Mila was groomed and unfairly forced to do this. To make things even worse,
I didn't know she was that young. That's crazy.
Danny Masterson betting Ashton to
That's
put
the
his
weird thing about TV shows from this time was like, you'd be like 30, but your character's supposed to be like 12. Like, I don't understand.
tongue in her mouth
It gave
for
me like such a
$20
skewed perception of what an adult looked like.
made them both seem extremely creepy. But it didn't stop there. In Mila's words, she was
Or
forced
not
to
even an
kiss
adult,
every
but
man on
anyone.
the show.
I'm worried
young
about you
adult.
on the show because you keep
Because I'm a
boy
whore?
hot. What?
Because I'm the whore in the show?
I think so.
Jesus.
No. It's upsetting to my parents as well.
Off camera, I know you're such a nice lady.
Thank
You're
you.
what? You're all of 19.
Yes.
Yeah. And you're in the show though. You're just.
I'm the one who's kissed every single guy in the show except for Topher.
It's so wrong, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's quite wrong. Yeah.
And what do the writers? They just throw you. They don't care.
No, they just. I don't know what they're thinking. I have no choice but to just kiss them.
Jesus Christ!
We have all heard the horrifying stories of Hollywood. If this is what she was forced to do on screen, what happened off screen? The first season of That 70s Show was a tremendous success, producing 25 episodes and averaging 11.7 million viewers.
You gonna stream tomorrow? I mean, probably.
While some praised Ashton for his newfound fame, others resented him, claiming that he was mediocre and coasting off his natural good looks. But nobody resented him more than his twin brother,
Who the
Michael.
Evil Ashton Kutcher. Or unevil Ashton Kutcher, I guess we'll let it play out. How are they twins? Ah, yes. I don't have any money. Okay, so that looks like people who are related. They don't even look like I'm saying.
A lot of the times where we were playing soccer, he would always make sure that I was included.
My fandom account has been blocked. Which one is that? What'd you do?
Michael,
I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry for your loss. How does he look exactly the same?
He was totally normal.
He was probably just acting there. He's actually 40.
In the 8th grade.
Evil Ashton Kutcher. Holy shit. Looking kind of devious.
School plays, but he wasn't able to stay focused, which led
to kept pranking all the people on set. He kept lying to them and saying, "You're on TV."
Delinquency.
But I wasn't.
Was convicted of 3rd-degree burglary and sentenced to 3
years
of probation and
What if Ashton Kutcher broke into your house and burgled you?
180
and then said you've been punked
service after trying to break into his high school after hours. To
Jesus
his surprise,
Christ.
he placed first.
Imagine being the most good-looking guy in Iowa.
To be successful
besides Slipknot, of course.
Education. He traveled to New York City and
Corey Taylor.
Despite losing, Ashton garnered attention from several modeling agencies.
Several nice men. He's barely wearing the clothes. What a horrible model. I'm sorry it didn't work out, but I see why, man. He's clearly acting as Harry Styles right here. This is not Ashton.
Here's my car. A stoner comedy.
Dude, I tried to watch that once. It was only like a couple years ago, though, so probably way past its expiration date, but God, this shit was ass. That's all I have. That's all I remember.
Since it was written by That 70s Show screenwriter and script editor Philip Stark.
That's my
character Jesse was basically the same as Kelso. Stark was familiar with Ashton's comedic timing and was able to construct the screenplay in a way that displayed his strengths. Critics hated the movie, saying it straight up wasn't funny, but that didn't matter. Dude, Where's My Car was a box office success and grossed over $73 million.
Grossed me the fuck out
wide on a
by being boring
budget.
and
I
smoking
also thought
weed.
It was hilarious, but I was 8 years old when I watched it. It was during this new peak of fame for Ashton that he would find himself being a witness to a murder, which changed the course of his life forever. The Hollywood Ripper was described as a serial sexual thrill killer who took the lives of multiple
That's like 4 serious words.
Throughout the 90s into the 2000s. One of those victims was Ashley Ellerin, who was a friend of Ashton's. On the night of February 21st, 2001, Ashton and Ashley had planned to go to the Grammys after party together. Around 8:24, he said he was running late. Around 8:30, witnesses said they heard screams from Ashley's house. Ashton said he arrived to her house much later, at 10:45 p.m. He knocked on the door, but heard nothing, thinking he was stood up, so he left without her. At 9 a.m. the next day, Ashley was discovered by her roommate dead on the floor. She was stabbed 47 times. He immediately
47?
Contacted the police the next day. He was freaked out because he knew his fingerprints would be on the doorknob, but he was not a suspect in this case. However, 20 years later, many people are questioning Ashton's involvement. In an Instagram story posted by Chrissy Bixler, the girlfriend of his co-star Danny Masterson, she wrote, "Did you forget I was there? You were on speakerphone the night you called Danny on February 21st, 2001, which was the night of the murder. I heard everything. I heard the plan. In my opinion, you're just as sick as your mentor." However, this all happened in 2001 and went relatively unnoticed until recently.
That's me!
In 2003, Ashton co-starred with Brittany Murphy in Just Married.
Sorry, marriage is scary.
Romantic comedies are where he thrives. The two young actors dated briefly after filming Wrapped, and while it was a short-lived romance, their natural chemistry helped the movie become a commercial success, grossing over $100 million worldwide. But critics would not let up on Ashton. He was nominated for Worst Actor for all 3 of his 2003 films at the 24th Golden Raspberry Awards. He did step outside his comfort zone with The Butterfly Effect, a science fiction thriller where Evan
I hate that movie. I mean, it is, like, kinda good, I guess.
Experiences
I don't
blackouts
remember.
and can
I don't
travel
know.
back in time to inhabit his younger self with his adult mind, trying to make small changes to reshape the future
It's
of
just
his friends
so
and family.
traumatizing.
This was a huge box office success, but again, critics destroyed it. It seemed like the only praise Ashton would get would be from young girls who thought he was a heartthrob. People couldn't fathom why he kept getting casted for new
Oh,
films. and
that
that's
sucks, dude. Can't relate.
likely because he was producing them himself.
Squeaky
He started
boots?
his own production company called Catalyst in 2000 alongside Jason Goldberg. At age 22, the young entrepreneur knew he could make way more money producing than just being an actor. However, during his next big TV venture, he almost destroyed his career. During the early 2000s, Catalyst and MTV developed a
What
program
a roller
called
coaster of a life. What is bro yapping
Harassment.
about?
The
Me or
initial
him?
plan was to create a
'Cause
hidden
yes.
camera show which would feature pranks on regular, everyday, anonymous people. However, those
Pink taco shoot date.
plans were derailed in January 2002
What the fuck, man? Ashton Kutcher's had quite a life.
following an incident that resulted in Ashton and MTV being sued for $10 million. James and Lori Ann Ryan took a holiday from their home in Washington, D.C. to Las Vegas, booking their stay at the Hard Rock
He do
Hotel.
be yapping
The couple
about bro
entered their
doing
Las
some
Vegas
yapping
room
on
discovered
TV,
what
and then I'm
appeared to
doing
be a
yapping over
dead
that.
human body covered and surrounded
Sorry
by
for any
blood,
confusion.
evidently the victim of a homicide. Two actors posing as security
A lot of
guards
people
blocked their
died
exit, and another
during
justice-
this 12-minute explanation, this 10-minute lore video.
The paramedic went in before Ashton popped out and told him it was all part of
You're
a
not really dead, you've been
guerrilla-style
pranked.
camera show. The incident was being filmed as part of the pilot episode for harassment. Unfortunately, the couple, who just wanted to enjoy their vacation, were absolutely mortified and later sued MTV for $10 million.
Yeah, you just
claimed invasion
didn't know that pranks were invented yet. Come on, don't be a baby.
of
It's just a prank,
privacy,
man.
infliction of emotional
Jordan, on
distress,
Twitch
and
now.
fraud, among other things. The crazy part is this wasn't even the first time MTV made this mistake. 8 months earlier, a pair of teenage girls sued MTV after they were sprayed with human excrement for the show Dude, This Sucks. MTV
What?
apologized and promised to never show the footage,
What
but
kind
the
of
lawsuit remained in litigation.
show was that exactly? I've never heard of Dude, This Sucks, but that does sound like it was aptly titled.
Somehow Ashton dodged a bullet with this controversy, but
He
MTV
fucking goes to town on his brims every single time.
still
It's
trusted
just the
his
swag,
vision
I
for a
guess.
prank show. They rebranded
dedication.
from harassment to punked and decided to prank
It
celebrities
was called harassment? I thought that was the charges.
instead of random people. Punked first aired in March 2003, and the first episode saw Ashton target singer Justin Timberlake and Malcolm in the Middle star Frankie Muniz. For
Okay.
Justin, he was led to believe he owed $900,000
And Jesse, we need to
in taxes
cook from
when
Breaking
government agents agreed to
Benjamin.
confiscate his house and valuables. Time magazine named the prank as number 3 in their list of 32 epic moments in reality TV history.
Whoa,
Punked wasn't
that's
the
high
first prank show
praise.
ever created,
You guys,
but
it was a
certainly
different
the most
time in the
popular one
70s,
at
you
that
have to
time.
believe me.
The second season secured 7.4 million viewers, a 55% increase over Season 1. It was the most watched show in its time period among viewers 12 to 34. The pranks were decent, but it was the never-ending list of A-list celebrities that made it so popular. The Rock, Tyra Banks, Kanye West, Serena Williams, Dirk Nowitzki, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Simon Cowell, Allen Iverson, Tony Hawk, Akon, Shaquille O'Neal, Triple H, Sean Paul, Neo, Rihanna, Zac Efron, and John Cena.
That is all of them.
Basically
That's
everyone
all
got
of them.
punked. The hardest part about the show was getting celebrities to sign the paperwork, because they didn't want to be embarrassed in front of millions. We never aired a single episode that a celebrity didn't sign a waiver to say, it's okay to air this. Punked became a part of culture. In the early 2000s, people would often say, am I being punked right now? While something weird or crazy was happening in their lives. And then they look around in all various corners to wait for Ashton Kutcher to pop out with a camera in their face laughing.
Mental health was not taken seriously back then. We've made some great strides. Thank you, Ashton.
Was one clip of Punked that resurfaced recently of Ashton talking about pranking Hilary Duff, the Lizzie McGuire superstar who at the time was 15 years old.
Hilary Duff is in Lizzie McGuire. She also has an album out. She's going to be in a movie called Cheaper by the Dozen. And she's one of the girls that we're all waiting for to turn 18. Along with the Olsen twins.
Many people say this is just the way people joked in the early 2000s, but others claim this was actually Ashton's sick mindset. Ashton was lucky to star in 2 extremely successful shows at once, but the first one was about to come crashing down. He was making between $250,000 and $300,000 per episode of that 70s
was bro
show,
waffling
adding up
about?
to as much as $8 million per season. Topher Grace left the show once the series concluded its 7th season. Fans felt that it wasn't the same without such a central character in the series. Ashton also left the show to explore new opportunities as an actor and producer.
Imagine continuing.
Without Topher and Ashton, the show's last season only drew 6 million viewers, a 5 million viewer decline.
You're saying they fell off?
From here,
what up,
the
Jack
only time
Weed?
Ashton saw success is when he played the role of
the 70s fell off really when the 80s started. I'm gonna be honest.
Hot guy. From 2006 to 2014, he starred in 13 films, but failed to have any kind of substantial impact outside of romantic comedies. His first project after that 70s show was about Robert Kennedy's assassination, titled Bobby. Despite a star-studded cast, the actors seemed more like very special guest stars than real 1968 vintage Americans. Bobby was just average and struggled to achieve box office success. Despite prominent roles in The Guardian, Open Season, What Happens in
Maybe
Vegas,
it's because your movie was called fucking Bobby. You ever thought of that? It's not exactly a great, memorable title.
Films that did well at the box office.
Might be a good movie, I don't know.
Personal Effects and Brothers Justice was a three-peat run of low-budget indie films.
These are all very generic sounding
films that all received bad reviews and no commercial success. Following a forgettable role in Valentine's Day, Ashton found himself opposite Katherine Heigl in the 2010 action comedy Killers. It received negative reviews from critics and only grossed $98 million against a $75 million budget, and with his film career on the ropes, he accepted yet another rom-com. No Strings Attached with Natalie Portman. The film was adored by fans and grossed over $149 million worldwide. But what fans adored even more was Hollywood's newest power couple, Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher. Ashton ended his marriage with his then-wife, Demi Moore. Ashton and Demi met in 2003 when Ashton was 25 years old and Demi was 40. Their relationship quickly made headlines as an unexpected couple with their 15-year age gap. Demi already had 3 daughters from a previous marriage to actor Bruce Willis. Following months of negative reports about Ashton's alleged infidelity, Ashton and Demi both decided it was time for a divorce. However, still to this day, he remains a father figure to her children. I make a conscious effort to stay in touch with the girls. I love them, and I'm never going to stop loving them, right? I'm respecting them and honoring them and rooting for them to be successful in whatever they're pursuing. A lot of men, especially A-list celebrities, would not keep in touch with their ex-stepchildren after a divorce. But once he reunited with Mila Kunis, that 70s show fans' dreams came true.
But what if they're from
Sometimes
Bruce Willis's loins?
Art. On top of that, Ashton made a winning return to television in 2011,
when he became Charlie Sheen
on 2.5 Men after Sheen's antics got him booted off the hit sitcom. Kutcher fit in as yet again the idiotic, handsome womanizer.
What the fuck is this show, dude? They just can't turn the shows off.
Rapidly declined.
What is this video? What is his life?
It didn't really matter though, because Ashton was the highest paid actor on television for 4 years, according to Forbes, making upwards of $700,000 per episode. He specialized in acting like an idiot, but in real life, he is far from it, because his hundreds of millions in net worth is due to him being an early investor in some of the largest corporations today. Airbnb, Pinterest, Shazam, Skype, Spotify, Warby Parker, and Uber all received some investment money from the actor. One of his top executives at Catalyst, Sarah Ross, began introducing him to Silicon Valley elites during the early 2000s.
Onions, and salt!
I spent 90% of my time just listening, says Kutcher.
Sounds like a good recipe.
Status to break into Silicon Valley and begin investing before it was a cool thing to do. As you can imagine, he made a fortune. In 2010, Ashton teamed up with music executive Gary Osiri and investor Ron Burkle, founding A-Grade Investments. In 2016, Forbes noted that the group turned their $30 million fund into a cool $250 million in just a 6-year period. Throughout the 2010s, you would see him at tech conferences and on business news networks talking about money instead of movies. But as you learn more about what he does with his money, you realize he is not like your typical capitalist. Ashton spends a ton of his dollars and time to ending suffering around the world. Ashton made considerable efforts to raise money for Habitat for Humanity, Girls Educational and Mentoring Services, Boys and Girls Clubs of America, Raising Malawi, United Nations Children's Fund, St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, Stand Up to Cancer, among others. In March of 2022, Ashton and Mila helped raise over $30 million for Ukrainians after Russia invaded their country. However, his most profound effort that you almost never hear about is his foundation to stop child sex trafficking, Thorn, Digital Defenders of Children. The nonprofit builds software given to law enforcement for free to identify victims of sex trafficking and the people participating in the sale and exploitation of children. Ashton has been devoted to this cause for over a decade, and his efforts through Thorn are making a difference. The 2021 impact report from Thorn shows their software, Spotlight, identified 3,977 victims in 2021 and 24,366 We do know
I
that he
freaking forgot the point of this video. It's been so long. The leaked letter, Ashton Kutcher never wanted us to read. It's a freaking dude. I zoned out. Or I was encapsulated with the drama.
Thorne while running the New York City Marathon. And to this day, Thorne has a team of 100 employees using technology to defend children from sexual abuse. However, just recently, Ashton and Mila have said things that make us question everything we thought we knew about them. Danny Masterson, their co-star on That 70s Show, was accused, tried, and found guilty of R-wording 2 victims. Masterson was accused in 2017 by 5 different women, claiming he assaulted them in the early 2000s. 3 of the 5 victims were Scientologists, a church that he has been a part of since he was a child. Masterson assured everyone that these claims were false, and he was a victim of jealous women who feel empowered by the Me Too movement. However, the court did not see it that way. The trial began in October of 2022, and the testimonies were horrifying. Multiple victims testified how brutal and forceful Masterson was. One of his victims was his longtime girlfriend, Chrissy Bixler. In May of 2023, Masterson was found guilty of R-wording 2 women in 2003. But in a strange turn of events, Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis each sent the judge a letter asking for leniency in Masterson's sentencing. In Ashton's letter, he describes his now guilty friend as an extraordinarily honest and intentional human being, and a role model. He ends the letter with, "While I'm aware that the judgment has been cast as guilty on 2 counts of by force and the victims have a great desire for justice, I hope that my testament to his character is taken into consideration in sentencing.
Why would it be?
He is an ongoing
because you're Ashton Kutcher? Who cares?
His daughter raised without a
bitch, I'm enforcing the law.
Would be a tertiary injustice in and
just came by to say, hey, I don't feel so good, so I'm gonna lay down. I'm sorry to hear that, man. Feel better, Gargamel Pancake. Thanks for popping in. Appreciate you, dog.
Despite Ashton and Mila's attempts, the judge sentenced Danny Masterson to 30 years in prison for his crimes.
Jeez.
Ashton's statement completely changed everything we thought we knew about him. He dedicated the past 10 years fighting against human trafficking, being a first-hand witness on multiple occasions to arguably the worst type of crime in human existence, and being a part of rescuing these victims and trying to give them a fair chance at life again, only to contradict everything he stands for when his co-star committed the exact crimes he is fighting against. Then to defend his character and say that him being in jail would be an injustice. This one statement destroyed Ashton's credibility forever. Once the letters leaked onto the internet, they apologized.
We are aware of the pain
this is new?
Has been caused by the character letters that we wrote on behalf of Danny Masterson.
We support.
Are they married?
We have done this historically.
Get ready to feel the thunder? Can you be more specific? I'm scared.
We'll continue to do so in the future.
A couple months ago, Danny's family reached out to us.
Is she a robot?
Asked us to write character letters to represent the person that we knew for 25 years, so that the judge could take that into full consideration relative to the sentencing.
The letters were not written to question the legitimacy of the judicial system or the validity of the jury's ruling.
They were intended for the judge to read, and not to undermine the testimony of the victims or re-traumatize them in any way. We never want to do that. And we're sorry if
well, I mean, he kind of was.
that has taken place.
Right?
Our heart goes out
Why
to
else write 'em?
every single person who's ever been a victim of sexual assault, sexual abuse.
This robotic and cold apology did not help anyone understand why
She did sound like a robot, right?
This entire situation makes people regret celebrating Ashton.
Yikes, I feel like it sounded better before I heard their apology. I feel like that was not the move, boys. If you're watching this as a YouTube video later, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, helps me out a lot. I always appreciate it, dude. Freaking have a good night, boys. Peace.